Hi YouTube, so today I'm going to be talking about Pluto in retrograde in the sign of Capricorn transiting the first house. So if you have a Capricorn ascendant or Capricorn in the first house, which may be like an intercepted house or something, then this video is for you. Now, Pluto entered retrograde on April 24th of 2019 at 23 degrees. And now I'm going to be talking about how Pluto transiting the first house will affect you during this time until October. Now, I definitely recommend checking out the first video I posted of the series, which is Pluto in Retrograde 101, um, about changing yourself and changing how you view yourself, because that's the energy that you guys need to embody. So go check out that video if you're into like deep self-help and taking this time period very seriously, and to change your outlook and perception of yourself, and so that therefore you can transform. Okay, so when it's in the first house rules the self. It's the ascendant. It's how you perceive yourself. It's your outward appearance. It's how you carry yourself. It's the vibe that you give off when you meet someone. You know what I mean? Before you get to know them. Now, if you're Capricorn ascendant and you're watching this, you guys are going to go through a lot of self-transformation regarding your appearance, how you come off to other people. It's basically like going to affect everything that has to deal with your outward self and a lot of your internal self, more of like how you view yourself. You're going to be dealing with a lot of emotional turmoil, and like you thought you were this person, but now you feel a little bit different. Now you're transforming into a new person. You might find during this time that you're going to change your outward appearance, whether that's a new style, a new haircut, you might get spray tanned, you might get tattoos, and that's cool. I definitely recommend going for it and trying something new, because through those personality changes that you guys might encounter throughout this time period, you're going to actually discover more about yourself and discover the more complex personalities and the different type of energies that you actually have the power to embody. And it's going to be very hard to define yourself, just because you're going to find yourself relating to different parts of you, and different parts of you are going to come out when you're with different people, and that might actually warp the perception that others that know you have of you. So you might receive a lot of critical comments regarding your personality, regarding your appearance, and you're actually a lot more sensitive in this time to those criticisms, and you're going to be paying a lot more attention to your communications in the sense of how others interpret you and how you um, perceive yourself and how you perceive yourself in a social situation. So you might be able to you might have a social interaction with people and then think about that interaction later and just be like, but that's not how I meant to come off. That's not what I meant to say. And then there might just be a lot of awkward tension, or you may rub people the wrong way, and that's by accident. And then people might not necessarily retaliate, but they'll have something to say to you. And this criticism, actually, it seems painful, but if you are able to detach yourself from that feeling and just take it as not necessarily criticism, but oh, you do this. I didn't know you do this. And just be like, yeah, I do that. I can do that. This is a side of me. This is a new side of me. And I'm embracing it. I'm putting it out there. Sometimes when Pluto is transiting the first house, a lot of the times it's rediscovering of ourself, and it may not even be a rediscovery of who you are, but more of a rediscovery in the sense that you're finding new parts to yourself and embracing that. And right now, because you've never seen these sides to yourself, or something weird's going on with you that you may feel isn't your natural self, just because that's going on, it may feel like, oh, I'm changing, this isn't who I am, all this, and you may feel the need to reinvent yourself. But just remember that you don't necessarily have to reinvent yourself in this time. You have the power, and you have the energy, and you have the tools to do so. But think of it more as a rediscovering of a part of yourself that you never knew you had, and now you're just adding that on to who you are. So you don't necessarily have to knock down everything that you thought you were, and then rebuild a new thing. You can just be getting to know more sides of yourselves at this time, and getting to know more alter egos. And don't be so harsh on yourself when it comes to that. Just embrace it. That's the best way that you're going to get through it. People's criticisms, ignore it. Just take it more as a compliment, even if it sounds negative. Just be like, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Because I have like 3 Capricorn ascendants in my life, and they're all very close to me, and they're all like really weird right now. Like, Capricorns aren't like, they're it's like they're kind of out of body in a sense, or they're starting to feel a little bit of a disconnection. They're like, wait, but I didn't feel like this a few weeks ago. Like, something all happened, something's changed, something's shifted. Like, I don't understand. But don't panic. Release that fear. It's a fear that can hold you back, especially since you're a Capricorn, and that's an earth sign that can be reluctant to change, or new things, or new feelings, or new vibes. But that's okay. It's very important here in this time period that you accept it. And if you have awkward interactions or awkward days, or just like people perceive you the wrong way, don't take it personally, because they're probably not even thinking about it that much. It's just a hiccup, and we all go through this. We literally, Pluto goes in retrograde every year, and every year it's in a different sign. So next year it's going to be in Aquarius, so Aquarius ascendants are going to have to deal with this. So everyone goes through this. You may feel as if people are like bullying you because of their criticism, and you may feel very left out and unappreciated, or just very like, I don't know, like just criticized. Like, it can be rude sometimes when people are just like pointing out things, and you're just like, okay, bro, fuck off, like, you know? But their observations about you will bring light about who you are, or who you can be, or who you can become, like stuff like that. It's also a great time to find outlets to try to define yourself. If you're someone that wants to reinvent themselves, now is the time to do it. Go and look for things that make you happy, things that you love to do, and just delve deep into your passions, because that might get you notoriety, or that might become your new identity, or you're just going to grow a lot as a person, and you're going to grow a lot in the sense of who you think you are. That might be redefined, but you can also just use what you discover about yourselves as an addition to who you already are. Just accept it. It's fine. Personalities are so complex. Even like with ascendant signs, like people think that like, oh, Capricorn's ascendants are like dry and they won't talk to you and they look mad, but sometimes they can be social and they can be fun and they can have really great conversations with you. So it's like who we think we are can be so mutable sometimes that it's just like there's no real definition. And the more that you try to define yourself in this time, the more you're going to keep hitting a block. This Plutonian energy is all about releasing the control that you think that you have and letting new things flow to you. If you stop that change that's coming towards you, you're going to find yourself always in this rut and always being like, oh, something's off, something's weird. Every time you feel that, just tell yourself like, all right, something's off and something's weird, but you know what? I'm just going to keep going on with my day. I'm going to embrace this. It's whatever. Like, it'll pass. It's just a new time to accept things. Just constantly, like, every time you're feeling off, you're going to have a few of those days where you're just not feeling like yourself, and that may have already started, but just remember that it's okay. Like, it's honestly, like, okay. And it's actually going to bring you a lot of spiritual rewards when you, like, accept this energy, because you're going to tap into these personas that can attract many opportunities to you. You may attract new people, a new life, and a new job and stuff just by naturally going with the flow. When you resist it, that's when it's going to start to feel a little bit like uncomfortable. And it's all about leaving behind that negative self-talk, because Capricorns can be very critical of themselves. So if they don't like to receive criticism from other people. So their criticism might like affect how you view yourself. But just check out the first video I wrote about. I posted the Pluto Retrograde 101, and just really, really start to adapt those self-care behaviors and that self-care attitude towards yourself, so that once you start to love yourself and just start to embrace this energy that's coming towards you, it can be very powerful, and it can be very like not necessarily intimidating, but people won't fuck with you. Like, if you're very confident in yourself and you're very just like, okay, like accepting, people aren't gonna start talking to you, because they're gonna be like, oh, okay, like, okay, that's who you are, like, okay. And they won't be so like critical. But like, if you have that like low self-esteem energy, then people are gonna pick on you because they're insecure as fuck and you're awesome. So they're just gonna do it. You know what I mean? Now, if there's any time to pick on a Capricorn or a Capricorn ascendant, it's now. And if you embody that energy that's very weak and insecure with themselves, that's when you're going to attract it. But just implement self love and self confidence and radiate that shit, because you will attract respect and all of that. But you just have to go with the flow. You just have to have some things that you thought about yourself broken down. You just need to face this like really headstrong on, because if not, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna you're this is a really great time for self development of self development of self. What the fuck? Just self development. And you can, it's really powerful energy. I don't know how else to say it besides that. You may feel a little bit more exposed and vulnerable in this time, like you're seeing new sides that you can't really control, or just new things are coming up and you may feel very exposed. But you know what? Vulnerability is something that's very, very valuable, and it's very pure, and it's actually very admirable, because it's like you're not afraid to show your authenticity. And that's something that people will really look up to, and it's very important to, you guys are very closed off sometimes. I'm not even gonna lie. You guys spend majority of your life being closed off and being more mysterious and all of this stuff and keeping your walls up. And now you have this month period to just kind of like breathe. Like, you don't have to keep it in this entire time. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to stress out so much. You don't have to do all of those things that you that hold you back from just expressing yourself and being yourself and experiencing new sides of your personality. You don't have to do that in this time. You guys always do that. You know what I mean? So even if it feels uncomfortable, and it will, because you're always in that conserved energy, now is that time where you can just let loose. And anybody who has anything to say about that can really just fuck off, because you guys always are responsible, and you guys are always thinking about other people, and you guys are just like very helpful and very reserved, and you carry yourselves very well all the time. And now it's just that time for you. Like, take care of you, take care of your self esteem and your self confidence and the way that you look at yourself. Reevaluate yourself, reevaluate your self purpose and your your soul purpose. Focus on the things that you love. It's time to change the paradigm of how you view your world. You know what I mean? It's time to change it. Use this month. These months are gonna go by so fast. You know what I mean? Think about how it just turned 2019 and now we're already in May. Like, well, almost in May. But still, like, it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be exposed. It's okay to be criticized. Don't. It's gonna be hard not to get down in the dumps sometimes or feel out of whack, but just always write down some affirmations and just tell yourself that, like, okay, this is a time period where I can just be, and then when it passes, it'll be fine. Like, I just have to get through it. Like, it's all gonna be good. This is who I am. This is more who I am. I don't know, but just go with the flow. Like, you know what I mean? Just be very accepting to anything that's coming. If you try to resist it, you'll fall on your face, and it's just gonna prolong longer. You can just rediscover yourself and reevaluate things now, so that when Pluto goes direct, you have a really, really good sense of self and a really good sense of a good self-esteem and confidence and all that. When Pluto goes direct, once you've done all that rediscovery, you're good, bro. Like, you're gonna have that self-security. But if you just resist it, you're prolonging it even when Pluto goes direct. You know what I mean? So I really hope that this video helped you, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.